Good morning, everybody. What is the day of the week? It's Thursday. It's Thursday today, and it is episode 41. And I'm coming to you to talk to you about something that I started by accident almost and has really helped my business, even though my business was the last thing on my mind when I started it. So I want to talk to you about cause marketing. But before I start, I want to remind you we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and we're on YouTube, all of them live right now. And then afterwards, I'll post this, I'll take it over and I'll put it on LinkedIn so you can watch it there, and we'll put it into our podcast. So you can subscribe, though, right now at Brennan Annie over at YouTube, or you could subscribe to our Small Business Connections podcast over on Libsyn or iTunes or Spotify, anywhere you get podcasts. And I hope that you enjoy them. I'm hoping to give you something every single day that you can walk away with. And this week we've had a really good week. We talked about mental health earlier. We talked about leadership. Yesterday we talked about SEO. And actually, one of the things we talked about yesterday that I found really interesting, and I wasn't expecting to until I got on, was we talked about personal branding SEO, and that's not something I had ever thought about. So we've learned a lot so far this week. So today we're going to talk about cause marketing. Hi, Susan. Susan Marie is watching right now. You can say hi over, you can leave comments. I can comment back live like this. I can also, if you have a question, pull your question up onto the screen so other people can see it. So please don't be shy. I love to answer questions. If you're not listening to this live, we're still monitoring it. We do a really good job at ASMM monitoring every single stream that we manage. And so we're always in there commenting back and making sure that we're answering your questions. So please do feel free. And actually, let me give you another thing. Today is Thursday. It is June 4th. And the reason I'm telling you that specifically is because if you're listening to this later, you may miss it. But tonight I'm going to be on Twitter, and I'm going to be on hashtag lead lately. I'm going to do the lead loudly. I'm going to be on the lead loudly Twitter chat. And by the way, I mixed that up last night, and you don't want to mix those letters up. Think about it. All right, let's go back to cause marketing. And some of you know me, and I love the people who have been supporting me for a while, who have known what I do for a while, but some of you don't. So I want to tell you how I got into cause marketing and really and truly how much of an accident it was, but how much of a blessing it has been to me personally and to my company in particular. So Burgers and Bans for Suicide Prevention. That's what I started. I started a charity for suicide prevention. And it came out of the fact that our family struggled with mental health issues for about 3 years with our middle child. And it was the most terrifying time in my life. And when we started raising money for suicide prevention, we started it for American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, which is a great charity. I love it. I do. Actually, we give them a good portion of the money we raised. About 10% of what we raise goes to them because they have a bigger corporation. They can really put the money to work nationally. But the money we raise goes into schools. It goes into schools because, and actually I think it's so cool, it sometimes goes into kindergarten classrooms. And I think it's so cool because if we can teach a child who is 5 years old what it means to feel anxiety, what that feeling is that they're feeling, if we can teach them that it's okay to say, hey, mommy, I'm sad, right? We can teach them that then when they're in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, and actually there's a really big problem for senior citizens for suicide. And part of that is people have never learned how to ask for help. And if we could teach them when they're in elementary school to do this, we can help them so much. So our event's called Burgers and Bans for Suicide Prevention. It sounds like a crazy name for a suicide prevention charity, but I think it's the coolest charity in the world. What we do is we have live music. All of the bands volunteer their time. We do it twice a year right now. We'll probably do it more. We did it 3 times last year because we had the most amazing opportunity to do it in New Zealand. I'll put that in the show notes so you can find out more. We went to New Zealand with the Auckland Tuatara, which is a baseball team, and we did a charity event over there, which was super cool. But we have 3 stages in the States. We do 3 stages, 27 to 30 bands each time. And we raise money and awareness, and we show people that they're not alone in their battle. Now, this is really cool, but we started it completely because it is a cause that is important to us. And I'm going to talk about that later on, how to start your cause marketing and why it's important to think about the cause you're choosing. Thanks, Steve. Steve says he thinks it's says, I think it's a great name. I think it's a really cool name. I have people who say to me, don't you think you should change the name? And I really don't, because it just came to me and it was so perfect. And we got the URL right away, which was, to me, being able to get burgersandbands.org was just absolutely amazing that we could do that. So I feel like it was meant to be. So thank you, Steve. I'm glad you like the name. I love the name. I love the charity. But I want to talk to you about your charity, because that is a cause that's important to me. And it may not be the cause that is important to you. We are finding that about 95% of the people we talk to have a story to share about loss or somebody who they almost lost to suicide. It is something that affects so many people, but you may have a cause that's even more important to you. So I want to talk about that. Today, we're going to talk about cause marketing, the why and the how. And as I said, we did it almost by accident. We didn't think of it as cause marketing. We did it because we cared about this cause so much, and we weren't thinking about our business at all. What I did think is, this is really cool. I own a digital marketing agency, so I can use my marketing agency to promote Burgers and Bands. That's how I thought about it. I thought about my agency being behind the cause, not that the cause was going to help my agency, but it has. And I'm going to tell you how. Oh, Gavin's back. Hey, Gavin, I'm glad you're back. I love it when I get a person from Jamaica on here. It makes me wish that I was in Jamaica right now. Actually, I think I wish I was in Jamaica all the time. So, but I appreciate you being here. So thank you for that. All right. So I want to talk about the why and the how of cause marketing. And I want to tell you one of the biggest things that we have seen, one of the things that it has helped us with the most is employees. People want to work for us. And they want to work for us because the cause matters to them. Sometimes it's because it's personal to them, like in their family. Sometimes it's because they had a friend. Sometimes it's because they personally struggle. And they know how important it is to not feel alone. And so we've been able to get wonderful employees to come work for us because they know they get to be involved in this cause. And that makes a huge difference to my business. But the other thing is, it has raised our visibility. People know that we do this. They've seen, and the truth is, when we started, it was me and my son. That was it. It was me and my son and a couple of people who jumped in to help. Now it's our entire company behind it. And we work really hard. As a matter of fact, last year we did the calculations. 4 months of our year, 4 entire months of our year went to Burgers and Bands. That was what we did. You don't have to do that. That is a lot of work. It is for us, it's something we're willing to do because it means so much to us and because it is personal and because I've actually had somebody offer to buy the charity and put it into their charity. And maybe eventually that's something we would do. But right now, it's my baby and I love it. And I tell people all the time that my passion in life is marketing. My purpose in life, the reason I am here on earth, is to stop suicide. Even if I stop at one person at a time, I want to stop suicide. That means a lot to me. So yes, it helps me with my employees. It helps me bring people in. It also helps me get customers because they've seen what we can do there. They see that we care. People these days, we say it all the time, that you've got to be more human. People aren't doing business with businesses. They're doing businesses with people. And showing that you care, showing you care about a cause is a great way to show people that you are ready to commit to something bigger than the bottom line of your company. You're ready to commit to something bigger. So whatever it is that you choose, it shows that you care. And that's going to mean something to your people, right? But I've got to talk about choosing a cause because that matters, right? It matters. If you choose LGBT and you are in an industry that is not as LGBT friendly as I would love it to be, but if it's not, then that's maybe not the cause for you. Unless you're willing to say, I know I could alienate some people, okay? I hope it doesn't alienate people. I hope we get to a point where that doesn't happen. But for right now, that's the thing that I was thinking about. So how do you choose your cause? What do you do? I want to say this. I'm going to do this in opposite order than what I had written down. I had written down first that it needs to be related to your business, but I want to tell you first and foremost, you have to really care about it. If you don't really care about it, it's going to show. So think about the things that you personally, you and your family and your employees care about. So right now, I've got a friend who is struggling. She's in treatment. She's in the middle of treatment for pancreatic cancer. And the people around her are rallying around that cause. If you have an employee or an employee's family member who has cancer, that would be a good cause for you because it's something you guys all care about and your employees see that you care about it. If you are an education company, maybe the Boys and Girls Clubs of America will be a good cause for you. By the way, I love the Boys and Girls Club of America. I'm going to write it down so I can put that in my show notes. I will tell you it was, had I not started Burgers and Bands, probably the Boys and Girls Club would have been the next thing I got involved with because it saved my life, honestly. I grew up in an abusive household. It was a very hard life that I had, and when I was much younger, it was much worse. I remember coming home from school one day, and our furniture had all been repossessed, and that was, oh, I can't even tell you how scary that was because I wondered, what was going to happen next? Would I come home and have no parents, right? It's just, you just don't know. And that Boys and Girls Club saved me. They taught me so much. And so many of the things I do today started there. So Boys and Girls Club, that would be a great one. But there's so many. If you are a company that's all about sustainability, you're a solar company, then maybe what you should do is team up with somebody who really is all about sustainability and put something towards that. Okay? So I want you to think about what you care about, but also how does it relate to your business? Can it be something that works hand in hand with your business? For me, it was very easy. I own a digital marketing agency, and our message at Burgers and Bands is that you're not alone. And there's no better way to show people that you're not alone than being on social media and putting it out there on a constant basis. Those just mesh so well. And so it made sense. But you got to make sure it makes sense for you. And I just had a consultation last week. We don't mind doing this. This is not part of our regular business. But I did have a consultation with someone last week who wanted to know how they could do something like what we've done. And let's back up because I want to say that. What we've done is almost insanity. I want to be very clear. Giving 4 months of my business to this charity costs us money. It also costs us time, and the stress that it causes within our office is a lot. So when this person called me last week and said, hey, how do I do something like you? What I said to them was pick a charity that's already in existence. Unless you have the time, unless you have the resources, because we have funded Burgers and Bands for Suicide Prevention. We have funded it out of our work. We have funded our employees. We pay them, not the charity. We have done all of that, and it's important to know that. We didn't go vice versa. We used our charity to do that, or our business to start a charity, but you don't have to do that. You do not have to start a charity. There are so many great ones out there, and the truth is they're established enough to make a real difference. So think about what you care about. And if you want to sit down with us and say, hey, what do you think? Do you know this charity? Do you know that charity? How do we get involved? We can help you. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what it takes to do this. So you can put money towards it. Rising Tide is a great company on the Eastern Shore. It was started by Chesapeake Bay Outfitters, and I've got to write it down so I remember in the show notes. I need a producer. Rising Tides. So Rising Tides was started by Chesapeake Bay Outfitters, which is a small department store on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, and in St. Michael's. If you've never been to St. Michael's, oh, you should go. It's lovely. But they started this charity. Or not this charity, they started a clothing line, and every day they donate back out of the proceeds of that charity. But during this crisis, they took 25% of every sale and they put it into food banks. because they knew people were struggling and they wanted to help. So that was a great way to do it. They gave money. Okay, they gave money to help. That is a great way to do it, and I think that helps. But what about your resources? You have people within your company who you can incentivize to volunteer. You can take your whole company and spend a day doing Habitat for Humanity, and that is a great way. You have resources, but you also have resources in what you do. Is there something you do that can help a charity? We personally work with several charities. We work with the Greek Church out of Annapolis. We do their Greek festival, which they had to cancel this year, and it was the saddest thing because it was so great. And for me, it was very sad because last year on this weekend, I had my appendix removed, and I missed the Greek festival, so that was sad. So 2 years in a row with no Greek festival for me makes me sad. But we do that. We do Warrior Music Foundation, and we do the Eastern Shore. There's a music festival out there that I'm drawing a blank on right now. But we do 3 different charities that we do the work for pro bono because it means something to us to do that. We have the resources, and we do it. And then again, you have time. What time can you put into it? Can you come out with your employees? Can you personally go out? Can you take time out of your life to help? So that's that. I want to say this too. Make a formal agreement. We have a couple of companies that work with us on a sponsorship basis, but we have some companies who work with us on a basis in that they help us. So actually we have some that do both. So the Baltimore Washington Medical Center, they not only give us several $1,000s a year to help run Burgers and Bands as a sponsor, they also put it out to all of their employees that there's a volunteer opportunity, right? So they give us their time. So those are things you can do. And that's a formal agreement we have with them. Make it a formal agreement. Make it something that is in writing so that you have, when you bring in an employee, you can say, hey, we have a partnership with this charity. This is something that's important to us. I think that's a really important thing to think about when you're doing this. And then I want to talk to you about marketing your cause, because truthfully, you could market in a way that was icky. You can market it in a way that really focuses more on you than on them. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it, because for us, we talk about Burgers and Bands, but we're not always tooting our own horn about it. Instead, we're saying, hey, help Burgers and Bands. And people see we're doing that. That's all it takes. Promote the charity you're working with. Show people what you're doing. If you go out and you have a volunteer day, if you go out and you do a walk for the charity, yes, post those pictures by all means, but don't make it an icky thing. Don't pat yourself on the back so much that you're hurting your reputation as opposed to helping it. So I want you to think about that. We can help you with that. The Eastern Shore is generally lovely. That's what Steve Atkinson said. It is generally lovely. It really is. And it's amazing to me for the Eastern Shore of Maryland that you can be in Annapolis, which I think is a lovely town and it's in and of itself. But there's so much going on and it's so fast paced. And you cross that bridge onto the Eastern Shore and you almost feel the relief in your body from coming into something that is so peaceful, and there's still so much to do, but it's a slower pace. And it's a nice, especially right now when we're going through the lockdown and people aren't going to get their vacations. We were going to go to Maine this year, and there's a problem. They have you on 2 weeks. You have to go there for 2 weeks and you can't leave your cottage, and we're only going for a week. So that doesn't work for us. So we're going to spend some time on the Eastern Shore this year. So, Steve, I love what you do over there. Actually, put your stuff in the show notes here or the comments and let people know exactly what you're doing over there, because you do a lot to help the Eastern Shore, and you do a great job with it. I really appreciate it. All right. I hope you got some ideas here. I hope you are already thinking about the charities you could work with. I hope you're thinking about the causes that mean a lot to you. And even if you think, I'm not going to pull this into my business, I hope it encourages you to go out and make a difference today, because a long time ago, I used to run Ironman, and I said in my training that the way you eat an elephant is one bite at a time. In my training, I worked one one workout at a time. Even though I'd have 2 or 3 workouts a day, it was really one workout. I'm not even going to think about the second workout until the first one's done. That's the same with charity. Every single thing you do can make a difference, because this is a giving world. Even though this week it hasn't seemed like it, this is a giving world, and you can give back in a very positive way by getting involved with the charity, whether you do it through your business or you do it personally. So I hope this helps you. I also want to tell you what's coming up tomorrow. I'm really excited about tomorrow. We're going to be doing a case study of what we have done for the past 8 weeks. It was 7 weeks when I planned this case study, but we have done a lot of content marketing over the past 7, 8 weeks, and we have seen the results, and I want to give them to you, but I also want to give you the down and dirty about what it took, because it took a lot, including actually bringing in another employee in the middle of the pandemic. So I want to be honest with you about how that works and what I did. And I hope it will help you. I really think it will. I was just talking to somebody, my sister actually this morning, and she is doing, she's just started her own Facebook page and her own Instagram page for estheticians. I'll drop that in the show notes so you guys can go follow my sister, because she's my baby sister and I love her. But I was telling her how I think this case study will help her to see what you need to do every step of the way to really do your content marketing well, and how you can repurpose your content. So I hope you'll come. I hope you'll watch it. I hope you'll pay attention and ask me questions, because I've got a lot of answers, because we did a lot of stuff during this time. And one more reminder that tonight is the Lead Loudly Twitter chat. Over at Twitter, I'm going to go on at 7 o'clock. It'll be from 7 until 9. It's kind of a long one. I hope you'll ask questions and answer questions and play along and share and learn. I hope you do that every day. Play along and share and learn. That's what I hope. Maybe that should be my tagline. Play along, share, learn. All right, guys. I have had so much fun doing this. I get a real kick out of it. You guys take care. Bye-bye.